Good morning. Yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 399. This is the last episode in the 300 you're ever going to see the two dumb Yinzers. There's literally no way of that not being the case. Guys, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. Derpy's fired up and ready to go.
Uh
Our boy Derpy,
um
Nostradamus. I mean Nostradamus over
we
here.
do. We got a Nostradamus on our staff. Guys, you know the NFL season is underway when we see Patrick Mahomes' childbearing hips doing the cha-cha through 11 defenders. Baby, they're back. The NFL's back. It couldn't have been crazier. And you know what? If anything, this game is weird because you know how they're doing all the commercials now about the writers making up scripts and making up storylines? This is going to be the most bizarre finish to a game I've ever seen in my life. Give credit to the writers on this one, guys.
Exactly. Like whatever writer is crossing the picket line to feed the NFL, you better be paid handsomely because that was a good line.
Yes.
Good plot and everything.
I mean, they're coming up with things that nobody's ever came up with before. You know what I mean? How you do that in a league that must have ran a bazillion plays in its history is beyond me.
It's wild, man. That game was wild.
Big game last night. First game of the season in the NFL. Of course, it was the kickoff between the Lions and the Chiefs at Arrowhead. I do want to say, as much as I support the Chiefs and the Braves, I do for political reasons. I do think it's kind of weak that the Kansas City Chiefs kind of take the tomahawk chop as their own. Whatever. But I just thought that was a kind of a cheap thing. Besides for that, there was a really good game, guys. 21-20. The Lions win this game.
I'm a god at picking.
Well, we're gonna get to the picks in a moment, but let's talk about let's talk a little bit about this game first, guys. It started before it even got weird because it really did. Because the end of the game, when it was 21-20, and the Lions had the ball on fourth down in basically the middle of the field, they went forward like on 4th and 2. Got stopped. Kansas City gets the ball in the middle of the field. A couple things happen. They're sitting at 4th and 20 now. This is the end of the game. It's a little over 2 minutes left. An offsides takes them back 5 more yards. So now it's 4th and 25 from their own 30-yard line. They have 3. I'm talking about Kansas City. They have 3 timeouts left. The 2-minute warning in a 1-point game. And they decide to, even after that penalty, you thought maybe they might have been trying to draw Detroit offside. You thought maybe they might have lost their mind for a second. But if I get another chance, I won't do this again. No, they continued, guys. They continued on the same path. They go for it on 4th and 25 after Patrick Mahomes goes, I don't know what this was, but after both of those plays, when he wanted to run it on, or when he wanted to run a 4th down play, you will notice Patrick Mahomes walking around going like this. So you think, something's got to give. There's no way the Chiefs are going to give this game away like this. Under these circumstances, again, this is a bad coaching call on any standards. But anyway, so Patrick Mahomes drops back. And again, at this point, you're still thinking, okay, something's got to give. It can't just end this way. This is the most bizarre thing. He overthrows the ball downfield. Nobody catches it. It becomes the Detroit Lions ball. With all that stuff that Kansas City had, now they're forced to use their turnover, or their timeouts one after another to try to stop the clock. That was one of the worst coaching calls. And I'm not saying Andy Reid's a bad coach, because he's not. He's an amazing coach. But that was one of the biggest
blunders,
farts in the NFL I've ever seen. And if Andy Reid is not going to be the coach, and if the offensive coordinator is not going to call something that's reasonable, and every time that Mahomes goes like this, they decide to go for it on 4th and 30, they're going to have a long season, which I don't think is going to be the case. But guys, can anybody explain to me what the hell that was all about and what happened?
I don't know, because they had plenty of time to punt it away. They had all 3 timeouts, the 2-minute warning. So they had 4 timeouts. And at worst case,
and Patrick Mahomes.
Granted, he, at that point of the game, he had to throw the pass and run downfield and catch it himself like he's Superman.
Not to mention, he did lead the team in rushing yards as well.
Yeah, he was that whole team's offense.
Yeah.
It was just bad play calling, man. And it was just bad decision, man. Punt it away. Punt punt it away. There was no reason to go for it. That 4th and 23. What were you thinking? Like,
For a fan, it was an amazing. For a
it
fan,
was
it's
great. Oh,
not
it was a great
fan
game.
of either one of these teams, but just a football fan. It was an amazing game. I loved it. I went to bed thinking about it, and as I said, if this is your team, you're pissed off.
Oh yeah.
And here's one way to look at it, guys. Statistically, the Kansas City Chiefs are the worst team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, baby.
They are
Mahomes
better than-
Yeah,
is
but
the
when it
worst
matters in the
quarterback in the
playoffs, they
NFL.
won't
Statistically,
be.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Statistically, everybody is better than they are. And
Everyone,
statistically, there's 15 teams in the AFC playoff race that are ahead of the Kansas City
so
Chiefs.
we got that going for us, boys. A lot
Now-
of teams enjoy it while it lasts.
Now, it's time to get to the ridiculousness of this. I believe it was Chris Collinsworth, one of these goofy announcers. At the end of the game, he's walking off
Tirico.
the field. He says, Detroit wins this one 21-20, but there's going to be an asterisk next to this. This is what he says on national TV. There's going to be an asterisk next to this game because Travis Kelce and Chris Jones didn't play.
No,
Because this isn't the NFL and people aren't injured. We didn't have to
Exactly.
go without our best guy for 2 fucking seasons. Guys, ridiculous. For one, Chris Jones is he's sitting out on a contract. You know what? Boo-hoo. There's nothing you could do about this.
Yeah.
And Kelsey, if you can't win a game without one guy and you got Patrick Mahomes, there's going to be an asterisk. Get out of here. This
Get
is one
outta
of the
here.
craziest things I've ever heard.
It was stupid. Yeah, that was Mike Tirico, who I absolutely hate. I think he's a terrible announcer, and how he's risen to this level is beyond me. He's just terrible at his job. He gets excited when nothing's happening, and then he says something stupid like this: "There are no asterisks. You beat who's in front of you."
And exactly.
Okay?
With what you have.
It's impressive that they won. Detroit won. They're a team on the rise. You figure Kansas City, they're going to take a little step back this year because they don't have the receivers that they did, but you still thought, okay, they have a lot of talent on this team, and they should have won this game, but hey, they didn't. One game. Yeah, in the comments there, it's one game on the lines, and they had a lot of hype last year. Yeah, it's going to take more than one game.
Let me ask you
for
this.
everyone be sold on the lines. But still, it's an impressive win. You beat the defending Super Bowl champs at Arrowhead Stadium. That's a pretty good win.
Let me ask you this though. On the board and also here on the panel. So, this is early. Yes, it is one game. Yes, it was a crazy finish.
Mhm.
But on the other hand, you got to look at the progress that this Detroit team has made. Last year, as you said, they were kind of the dark horse. People were expecting them to do something, and they really didn't. So they did more work to this defense. They bring, and again, we're going to talk about Brian Branch here shortly. And they made a bunch of moves in the offseason, as did the Steelers. So as the you watch this game play out, you're thinking that, and I'm thinking this the whole time I'm watching it. This Lions team isn't bad. I'm thinking the whole time that I'm watching it, Kansas City is really good. And I'm thinking this at the end of the game, this should have been a Chiefs win, because under any other circumstances, they would have found a way to win this game. And playing with sense, you would have kicked that ball away, played field position, used your timeouts accordingly, and tried to win this game. Again, I don't think there's a person on this planet who could explain what it was that Andy Reid was thinking last night. And again, Mike,
I know what it was.
He had opportunities. For one, you said on the first 4th down play before the penalty, he had a chance to rethink it after the penalty. I mean, again, there's ample opportunity. They should have won this game. It's almost like they gave it away, because they're like, you know what? We're going to win a bunch of games this year. There's no two ways about it. There's not much about this Chiefs team that's going to make me think that they're any less better.
No.
I know what it was.
What's that, Derpy?
What was that?
It didn't look like Andy Reid had his daily cheeseburger.
Oh, come on now. Get out of here with that nonsense. But I don't know. Maybe it was hubris.
We know that look around here, don't we, Derpy?
We do know that. But was it hubris on Andy Reid's part, thinking, you know what? Hey, I got Patrick Mahomes. I don't care who my receivers are. I'm completing 4th and 23. I've seen him do it. He's going to do it again. Which, you know what?
You drop everybody back into prevent this time, because
here's the thing.
Other circumstances, that's not the situation.
Is that the pass where it clanged off the receiver's hand too?
Yes.
He was wide open. Yeah. It's like that. And then the pick 6. that hit Kadarius Toney like right in the grasp and it went right through. It's
but
like,
you know what? Those last year
that's
we were
bounces,
calling
man.
Kenny Pickett interceptions. We were
Yep.
laughing
Here's
at
the
him.
thing.
This was, you know, what
it happens. You know,
It happens.
sometimes the football gods are on your side. Sometimes they're
yes.
not.
And yesterday the football
But-
gods were on the side of Detroit.
Yeah, and I think Kansas
Here's-
City, you know, they're good enough to bounce back from this loss.
Absolutely.
They're
probably gonna
just
win
going to brush it off
and
and
that's
keep
the
13
moving.
thing.
games. Go ahead, Derp, before I lose my mind.
It's not the playoffs. They don't have to worry about it. It's not the playoffs.
Exactly.
It's regular season.
Yeah, they're gonna keep moving.
Me and you both, all of us here have been watching the NFL for a long time. We know what's going to happen.
Let me tell you this, guys.
They'll round into form and
a little bit about the game. I was impressed with Jared Goff. I was never impressed with Jared Goff when he played with the Rams out west and he went to the Super Bowl. I was not impressed with him. Last year with the Lions, I was not impressed with him. However, last night I was impressed. He went 22 for 35, 253 yards, a touchdown. No big mistakes in a big game. And this, this Kansas City defense, they're all over the place. I was impressed with him. On the other side of the ball, Mahomes goes 21 for 39, 226, 2 touchdowns and an interception. As Mike said, the ball pretty much made its way to Brian Branch's hands.
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't Mahomes' fault. But Brian Branch, I know Derpy got some beef going on because he texted me on the spot and he says, I knew it after Brian Branch had his pick 6. He says, if Joey Porter Jr. shits out, I'm going to be so mad. And I said, you know what? Save that for tomorrow because Mike, that'll be something for you and Mike to talk about.
Brian Branch was one of the guys I was targeting for the Steelers. He's that guy who can play safety, he can play slot. So
he looked nice. He looked nice.
He is a good player. And of course, Derpy is, automatically
I'm just saying
into his hatred of Joey Porter. Hey,
I'm just saying if he shits the bed.
Hey, Derpy, why do you hate our players? Why do you hate the Steelers players, Derpy? Why are you such a hater of your own team? No.
The father is better than the son. Any day of the week in sports.
Are you sure about that?
Most of the time they are.
Let's talk about the player of the game for a moment. The player of the game, of course, for the Lions was number 19 wide receiver Kadarius Toney from the Chiefs. This guy, if anybody else won this game for the Kansas City Chiefs, I would say, for the Lions, I would say it would be Kadarius Toney. How many times did he drop a pass over the middle? God. How many times did he drop a pass wide open? How many times there was opportunities? Again, there was a lot of things last night that the Chiefs are going to go back to practice this week, talk about. And I think fix pretty easily because, again, you know who this team is. They're another year together. I expect nothing less than a 13-3, lowest 12-4. This team just is not going to have that season that people were thinking because they lost to the Lions.
Or they're playing one less game.
Yeah.
He said he had it up to 16.
Yeah,
I'm not a math guy. I know you're fine. But the Lions fans are acting like they did beat one of the best, the 85 Bears. But hey, the Lions fans, they haven't seen a good team in a long time. So I can understand their excitement. But if I was a Chiefs fan and I saw lines like that, I'd be like, pump your brakes.
Absolutely. I mean, I could listen.
This Lions team. I think they're going to be good.
Listen to me.
But they're not that. They're not contenders yet.
Yeah.
Listen, we understand because I'm going to tell you why we understand. The Lions fans are pumped up because I know this because we just went 3-0 in the preseason, and guess what? We're pumped up.
We acted like we're going to the Super Bowl.
So if we are pumped up, I promise you that these Lions fans, they all went to bed sleeping well last night. I wish them the best. I think they're going to win that division this year. Until Jordan Love gets a little bit of experience under his belt. And I have no faith at all in Minnesota. Yeah. So Detroit, you got to like this team. Again, do we think that they're going to go to the Super Bowl? I don't know. It's way too early to tell.
Yeah.
They could get, they could get a lot better as the season goes on. They could get a lot worse as the season goes on. That's why they play 17 games, right, Derpy?
Right.
Right. But I see the Chiefs easily in the AFC Championship game again.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the predictions that I saw, who was it here? Pro Football Talk. Get this, guys.
Yes.
Pro Football Talk pins the Steelers up versus Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. In their prediction, I'm not going to argue this one bit, guys. I love the way that sounds. And again, we didn't even play a game, and that excites me. Think of how the Detroit Lions fans are feeling this morning.
Yeah. If we make it to that AFC Championship game, if that does hold true, I'd have a heart attack in that game.
All right, another note that I have here, Mike, your boy from one of the other radio stations, I'm sure you saw this. He had the Steelers over the Bengals in an AFC Championship game this year.
Oh, no way.
in the Super Bowl
Ooh.
58 being between the Steelers and the Eagles, which I think would be an amazing Super Bowl that
That
I've been
would
waiting
be-
for a long time.
We would have to win that one. We have so much bragging rights
Yeah.
over
Oh,
Philadelphia
could
in
you?
sports.
It would be worse than losing to the Flyers in hockey. It really
It would be.
Yeah.
Because it would have so much more meaning.
Absolutely.
Oh,
But as I mentioned earlier, Mike, not only does Patrick Mahomes run the ball, throw the ball, catch the ball, place tackles, kick field goals. He did lead the team. He led Kansas City in rushing yesterday. He had 6 carries for 45 yards. No Chief ran more than ran as much as he did. So, here's the thing. If it would be Patrick Mahomes that was out opposed to Travis Kelce, maybe put that little asterisk next to it, which still isn't going to mean anything.
yeah.
For these people to say you got to put an asterisk next to this loss because Travis Kelce and Chris Jones didn't play is bullshit. That's crazy.
Yeah, you
crazy.
have to play who you're playing. So
Exactly. And as I said, if you're going to not win a Super Bowl because you don't have Kelce, that's crazy.
It does prove a point. He's nothing without Kelce, though.
no, it doesn't.
And
His
he's
receivers dropped
amazing.
the ball. Derby, his receivers dropped the ball all game.
I mean,
What do you want him to run it out and hand it to the guy?
Derpy, listen
All
to me.
his weapons are mid now.
Listen, you watched the game, didn't you, Derpy?
Yes, I
Any
did.
given time, I really felt that Patrick Mahomes could have turned the corner and turned his game around. And it almost seemed like at some points he was even playing with Detroit's defense, as good as the Detroit defense is. They had this amazing pass rush with Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
What's the linebacker that Jack Campbell from Iowa that they got in the draft this year? I mean, this defense was swarming. But as I said, and take these words with humor or not, but you knew that it was go time because there was Patrick Mahomes with his childbearing hips doing the cha-cha down the middle of the field, dodging 11 different guys. It was like the beginning of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when he's playing everybody and he's bouncing the ball off his head. And that's what it was like. This guy,
Yeah.
I literally felt like at any point the game could have been taken over by Patrick Mahomes. And I think once he fixes his fine tunes things up, it's going to be back to going back to being that way.
I like this comment in the in chat here. Hot take: Fields breaks out and Chicago wins the NFC North.
You know what?
I can see it. They're building a nice little team up there.
It could happen.
We do appreciate the comments, and I do want to say, listen, it's going to come down. That division it's not cut and dry. Don't get me wrong. When I said Detroit's probably going to
The
win,
Bears can compete in that division.
there's a lot of things that are going on over there. You do have the Chicago team that if they do figure out how to get over that hump, they're going to be a lot better. I mean, you went 3-13. You got good players. You got a nice team. They just got to figure out how to get over that hump. And then also you have Minnesota, who I think, Kirk Cousins, they tell me he's good. And also, again, Green Bay, you just don't know what you're going to get with this Jordan Love just yet. I think he's going to be fine eventually. But, Mike, I think this NFC North division is going to be a tough division. Not as tough as ours, but it's going to be a tough
It'll be
division.
up in the air,
It's
bro.
gonna because the Lions and the Bears have been bad for a while, so they've got a lot of high draft picks. And it's going to be a slugfest. Now that, like you said, Rodgers is gone, there's no real standout quarterback. Kirk Cousins, he puts up great
Up in the
fantasy
air.
football numbers, but he's not going to lead you to a playoff victory.
Again, anybody that just tuned in,
Burns.
there are 31 teams right now statistically that are better than your Super Bowl champions, Kansas City. You can't deny that. You could put numbers in front of my face, but I'm not going to buy it, guys. It was an amazing game. If you missed last night's game, shame on you. I know, Mike, you have to because of work and this.
Yeah.
But, if you're a football fan and you missed this game, shame on you.
One thing I want to point out was the opening drive. How about that gutsy play call, fourth down by the Lions?
I like what the Lions did all night.
So
I know.
saw a comment out online. It's like Dan Campbell, his fourth down chart. It's not a percentage chart. It's how much of a badass do I look like chart if I make this call.
Yeah.
And
I
he
love
was
this
like,
guy.
first, like you said, first drive of the season, he's like, F it. We're going for it. And that, you know what? And he has those guys buying into him to where if it would have failed, that defense, they would have been fired up, ready to go. Because that's showing that, hey, I trust you guys. And they're gonna go out there and
got balls of
that whole
steel,
drive
I tell
was
you.
just-
he's nuts.
I
amazing.
promise you.
He's a whack job, and
He's
love
the
him.
modern day Bill Cowher. If anything, he's going to get the team to the Super Bowl and they're going to lose by something crazy, but like two, interceptions or something. But I like this guy. He's got balls of steel. I love him with the Detroit Lions. I like what they're doing over there. Again, do I think they're going to run the table and win a Super Bowl? I
No.
don't think this, but you got to like where this team is going, and especially like I said, Mike, if they get over that hump and they make their way to the playoffs this year, let's see what they could do once they get inside the tournament.
Oh, that's
A couple injuries, guys, for the Steelers. A couple Steelers injuries here. We have Ogunjobi, he had limited practice at the end of the week, middle end of the week. He, of course, is battling what, Mike, an ankle?
Does that mean
ankle? Yeah,
foot helmet. But the other one, the one that caught my attention, guys, Cam Hayward, he's battling a stomach issue. I think maybe a sit-up or two might be a nice remedy for him. But I don't know. What is this? Anybody know what this is about? A stomach issue?
This is the first I'm hearing about it. I didn't notice that when I was reading stuff before the show. So hopefully,
Doran practiced yesterday. He developed.
That's not good.
Are
actually,
they starting?
What's that?
Is Hayward starting?
As far as I know, I mean, he has a stomach issue. What does that mean?
Yeah,
He's got diarrhea.
Ogunjobi's not playing. Is Ogunjobi playing?
We don't know, Derpy. These are injuries that are just coming up. They're both questionable right now.
Do you think Ben gets in?
I think who gets in?
Benton, rookie.
Oh yeah, if Ogunjobi can't play, yeah, or Cam, Ogunjobi's definitely going to have to play. Because but yeah, like this Cam thing, it was like he had a limited practice too.
Yeah, right.
Limited practice Wednesday, did not participate Thursday. So hopefully it is just, you got a case with the bubble guts.
But that's such a weird. I mean, usually they say an illness or something. A stomach.
That can imply to me, like, okay, does he have a hernia? Did he tear an abdominal muscle? Because that's going to be,
and that's a big
months-long injury. That's a huge loss right there. It's a huge. I'm not the biggest Cam Hayward fan just because he runs his. He disappears in big situations anymore, but he's still a damn good defensive lineman. And you lose him and Ogunjobi in the first game, having to go up against Christian McCaffrey. That changes the whole complexion of the game.
Complexion, baby.
Oh,
something else, guys. I don't know if you see this. Tell me if you've seen this. Matt Canada tabbed for a head coaching job in the league next year.
Based off of what the preseason?
What's that?
Based off the 3 preseason games?
I don't know. It's an article that I just saw before I came on. Headline: Matt Canada tabbed as a head coach next year. I guess maybe because his contract is up, and maybe if they see any kind of improvement with the Steelers' offense, people might say, "Hey, look at this guy! Look what he did."
I can see it happening, and that might be the best thing to happen.
I encourage
for him
it,
and
please.
the Steelers. Yeah. Well, what's the offense break out this year, and he leaves, and we go, "Oh my God, how'd they let him go?"
I know.
That's how fickle fans we are.
You know how it is here in Pittsburgh.
Yinzer fans are. You hate we hate you one season, and the next season we love you so much.
That's what I'm saying.
If you were to go, who would you want?
What?
I have no idea. I don't know like anyone like in the coaching pipelines throughout the NFL, like because you'd probably be looking at the receivers coach, quarterback coach coming in from another team to take over as the offensive coordinator, or some retread.
Also related to the game that we play this week against the San Francisco 49ers, of course, our opener, Brock Purdy. Now, this stat I got off the television this morning. I had to write it down because I thought it was so ridiculous. But Brock Purdy is 5-0 lifetime in openers. The guy's like 11. What are we talking about? His twerks?
Going to be in college, and then
where to go?
That's such a ridiculous thing. Who cares what he was in college? That doesn't mean anything. It's a whole different game.
Like, hey, Patrick Mahomes was undefeated until last night.
He didn't throw an interception until last night.
He was 0-2 against Jared Goff.
Yes, that's right.
Someone called him like his that's
his Eli
mate. Yeah, but I'm like, he hasn't beaten him in the Super Bowl yet. He hasn't reached Eli status yet. But that is wild. Like you see that all the time in sports. Like there's a certain team a team can never beat, or a player plays well against a team who's a scrub and they just kill you all the time.
Yeah. Get this one, guys. 28 of the 32 quarterbacks starting this weekend. 28 of the 32 quarterbacks starting this weekend have no Super Bowl trophies.
Ooh.
4 do. Does anyone want to try to take a stab and tell me who the 4 NFL quarterbacks are that's starting this weekend that have trophies?
Rodgers, Mahomes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is Nick Foles starting anywhere?
Nope.
Wow.
Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I got to pull up the list of the NFL to
No,
see
don't
my
pull up the
teams.
list. No,
I'm not pulling up quarterbacks. I'm
looking at
This
the
is what I want you to
Rodgers.
use. Otherwise, I'll just tell you what it says. I
I'm
want you
looking
to
at
guess.
the NFL teams. I'm like,
No.
I can't figure it out. Looking at the no, I can't figure it out.
That's
Matt Stafford,
Oh God, how can I figure out
Russell
him?
Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Well, I forgot.
Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson.
That's how memorable their Super Bowl performances were.
I saw another stat that was referring to basically it's an end of an era. This is the new era, not because Patrick Mahomes is the only.
You mean the stat that Ryan said yesterday that like no Ben, no Brady, no Manning, no Breeze?
Yes, that one.
You know what's weird, because didn't Brett Favre kind of like linger around once that era was over with?
Yeah, there's always that one guy lingering.
And he went
around.
to New York as a Packer, from a Packer quarterback to the Jets.
Yeah,
he's just lingering.
That's Aaron Rodgers.
Till he's gone, though, you can't officially say that era is over. I mean, he is a quarterback from that era.
Yeah,
but it's about as close as it could be.
Oh yeah, very close.
The Saints have the easiest schedule in the NFL. Yesterday, I went on about how this team stinks. They're not going to do anything with Derek Carr. I find out that they, in fact, have the easiest schedule in the NFL. So let's see if that makes a difference. I'm going to hop to baseball for 30 seconds before I pass it over to Mike. Pirates back at it tonight after a day off. They play the Braves in Atlanta tonight at 7:20. Pirates are 65-75. Meanwhile, the Braves are 91-48, which seems like a blowout. But last time, every one of the 4 games they played in Pittsburgh was close. It's in Atlanta. That could play a whole deal of difference. Mike, why don't you go tell everybody about the website?
Oh, the website. The new one is launching this Saturday to coincide with episode 400. Right now, the current one is archived. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see it. But you can still check out the merch store at 2-dumb-yinzers.myspreadshop.com. Catch all of our cool merch. You got the Bob Nothing merch. You got the KP2GP merch, Kenny Pickett to George Pickens merch. Yeah, so this Saturday, the new and improved 2-dumb-yinzers website will be up.
All right, everybody. Mike, Derpy, you have a San Francisco 49er trivia question today. Again, because this is who we play this week. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Here's the question of the day, everybody. The 49ers retired number 12 in honor of what player? The 49ers retired the number 12 in honor of what player? If you guys need choices, I will give them to you. Think it over for just a moment. We are live every day, 7 days a week from Monday to Sunday right here. And the show that we do live every day, we upload over on Spotify at 8:00 p.m. So if you'd rather just listen to the show in podcast form, maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're in the car, you're able to do that now because we send the brand new show up to Spotify 8:00 p.m. every day. Check it out. All right, gentlemen, the question of the day is this, the 49er question. The 49ers retired jersey number 12 in honor of what player? Do either one of you guys need choices?
I need choices. I can't think of who wore number 12 for.
Derpy? Choices?
Choices.
All right, here we go. The 49ers retired number 12 in honor of what player? Was it A? Was it Joe Perry? Was it B? Steve Young? Was it C? Joe Montana? Or was it D? John Brody? Either A, Joe Perry, B, Steve Young, C, Joe Montana, D, John Brody. Let me go ahead and start with Derpy. Derpy, who do you think were to the number 12 that got retired from San Francisco?
It has to be A or D.
A or D. Interesting strategy. You don't think it's Steve Young or Joe Montana? All right. So with that being said, Derpy, who are you going to pick?
Do.
I'm gonna go D.
Doo-doo. You going P? D?
D.
Yeah.
All right. John Brody. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Mike, which 49er player wore the number 12? Which is the reason that it got retired?
Let's go with A, Joe Perry.
A, Joe Perry. Is this your final answer?
Yeah, let's go Aerosmith.
All right, there you go. The question of
It's
the
probably
day,
just-
everybody, is this. The 49ers retired jersey number 12 in honor of what player? A, Joe Perry. B, Steve Young. C, Joe Montana. Or D, John Brody. Derpy picked D, John Brody. Mike picked A, Joe Perry. The answer to this question, of course, is D, John Brody. I guess he was all that back in the day. I mean, they
Must
gave
have been.
they give a little bit of information, and it seemed pretty amazing. So hey,
Yeah. Hey, well done. Congrats.
well done, congrats. I do want to say this real quick, guys. Did anybody notice we've been moving up in the power rankings?
Yeah.
There was a new power ranking that came out this week. You know, nobody played in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But the Steelers moved up. They are number 14 overall. The Bengals are sitting at 5. The Ravens, which I think is crazy, sitting at 7. We're at 14, and Cleveland is 18. So there you go.
AFC North representing.
Yeah, man.
Other
Mike, you got
news in
anything
the
before we
AFC
get ready to
North?
take off?
All I got is this little factoid because little fact that ties into the
I
what
thought
we've
you
been
called
talking
Dirty
about.
Little Fat Kid.
No, the Chiefs 2019 started out 6-4, won the Super Bowl. 2021 3-4, made it to the AFC Championship game. 2022 they lost and then won the Super Bowl. So don't count out the Chiefs just yet. Everybody.
Yeah, no, way too early to do that. With that guy as your quarterback, ain't no way.
Yeah.
You know, like Ben. I mean, if we had an early bad game early in the season, we thought, you know what, we have Ben. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah, we have Ben. We're gonna come back.
They got Mahomes. They're gonna be fine. Derpy, you, mister, I got to talk to for a moment.
All right.
I don't usually do this. I don't usually give an update, but I do have this for you. In the picks this week, you are up 1-0. What do you got to say?
No, I got something.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow got overpaid yesterday for losing a Super Bowl.
As I said, there's only 4 guys in the league right now, 4 starters that have Super Bowl wins. You can say what you want about Joe Burrow. You can say what you want about the guy in Buffalo, but you know what? At the end of the day, they haven't won anything yet. There's been many people that's gotten far, and even Jalen Hurts hasn't won. So, yeah. We will see. We will see. Only time will tell.
Oh, a stat here. Quarterbacks who have made their Super Bowl debut and have lost have never won a Super Bowl.
I did hear that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, like, if you go in for your first time, apparently you have to win. Otherwise, you never
win.
make it back and win. I don't know, like, the time period. I just saw that. So, apparently that made Derpy very excited.
That's shocking.
There's
Wow.
noises going on over there.
Over there. Yeah, I think it's time to go.
Shocking.
We need Derpy needs some alone time.
Yeah. I do want to thank everybody for checking us out. We do appreciate each and every one of you, as always. Either anything from either one of you guys before we take off.
I have nothing other than, hey, if you're new around here, thanks for stopping in. Make sure you like, subscribe. Have a lot of fun talking football around here.
It's not going to stop because tomorrow's college football day. We're still, I mean, we got big NFL weekend coming up, guys. A lot of football talk for the 2 dumb Yinzers.